At 3 a.m., I stopped at a truck stop in the middle of nowhere. 3 hours later, a state trooper told me I was lucky to be alive. My name is Eric. This happened 4 years ago during a drive through West Texas. I was heading home after visiting family in Arizona. The trip was supposed to take around 13 hours. I figured I could do it in one shot. Big mistake. By midnight, I was exhausted. My eyes burned, my neck hurt. I caught myself drifting toward the shoulder more than once. I needed a place to rest. The problem was that I was in the middle of nowhere. No towns, no hotels, no gas stations. Just miles of highway cutting through empty land. Then I saw a sign. Truck stop. 2 miles. I felt relieved immediately. 2 minutes later, I pulled into the lot. The place looked old. A diner, a fuel station, a small convenience store. Maybe 15 trucks parked outside, nothing unusual, at least at first. I went inside for coffee. The moment I entered, something felt off. Not dangerous, just strange. The conversation seemed to stop for a second when I walked in. Several people looked at me, then quickly looked away. I ignored it. Traveling alone makes you paranoid. I grabbed a coffee and walked to the register. The cashier was an older woman, probably late 50s. She looked tired. When she handed me my change, she quietly asked, "Passing through?" "Yeah." She nodded, then said something that caught me completely off guard. "Don't sleep here tonight." I laughed. "What?" She glanced toward the windows, then repeated, "Keep driving." Before I could ask what she meant, another customer stepped up behind me. The conversation ended. Outside, I sat in my car thinking about it. Maybe she was warning me about thieves, maybe truckers, maybe she was just eccentric. Who knows? Either way, I was exhausted. I decided to get some sleep. I parked beneath a bright light near several trucks, locked the doors, set an alarm, and reclined the seat. I fell asleep almost instantly. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up suddenly. At first, I didn't know why. Then I realized someone was standing beside my car. A man, middle-aged, baseball cap, dark jacket, just standing there, looking inside. My heart nearly stopped. The man didn't move, didn't knock, didn't say anything, just stared. I sat up immediately. The moment he saw me awake, he smiled, raised one hand, then walked away. Slowly, like nothing had happened. I watched him disappear between the trucks. Sleep wasn't happening anymore. I started the engine and considered leaving, but I was still exhausted. I figured maybe the guy was drunk or mentally ill. I stayed. Another mistake. About 20 minutes later, I noticed something else. A white van. It had entered the lot while I slept. Nothing unusual, except the van kept moving, slowly, circling, passing through rows of parked vehicles, again and again and again. Not parking, not stopping, just driving, watching. I told myself I was imagining things. Then I noticed the same man from earlier, standing near the diner, talking to someone. Both men looked toward my car several times. That uneasy feeling returned immediately. I locked the doors again. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. No signal. Not unusual out there. Then another vehicle entered the lot. A state trooper. The patrol car parked near the fuel pumps. The moment it arrived, the white van left, immediately. That got my attention. The trooper entered the diner. 10 minutes later, he came back outside. Then he started walking through the parking lot, looking at vehicles. Eventually, he reached mine. He tapped the glass. I rolled the window down slightly. "Everything okay?" I asked. The trooper looked at me, then asked, "Traveling alone?" The exact same question the cashier had asked. Yeah. He nodded, then asked, "How long have you been here?" "A few hours." His expression changed, not dramatically, just enough for me to notice. Then he said, "Have you talked to anyone?" I explained about the man staring into my car, the white van, the cashier, everything. The trooper sighed, then glanced around the parking lot. "Listen carefully," he said. "Leave." I frowned. "What? Right now?" I laughed nervously. "Why?" The trooper looked uncomfortable, then said, "Because you're exactly the kind of person they're looking for." My stomach dropped. What does that mean? He lowered his voice. "Single travelers." I felt my chest tighten. The trooper explained that several incidents had happened along that highway during the previous year. Travelers stopping overnight, mostly people alone, mostly people sleeping in vehicles. Some reported attempted robberies, others reported being followed. A few disappeared temporarily before turning up miles away with no memory of what happened. Nothing was ever proven. No arrests, no suspects. But the reports always started at the same location, that truck stop. I looked toward the diner, the parking lot, the trucks. Everything suddenly felt different. The trooper wasn't trying to scare me. He was genuinely concerned. Then he pointed toward a dark section of the lot, near the edge of the property. "See that pickup truck?" I nodded. "Been sitting there 6 hours." I looked closer. The engine wasn't running. No lights, nothing. Just darkness. The trooper continued. "Nobody's come in or out." A chill ran down my spine. Then he said something worse. "That's the vehicle from 2 previous reports." I didn't ask what reports. I didn't want to know. The trooper told me to leave immediately and drive to the next town about 40 miles away. I agreed. No hesitation. I started the engine, fastened my seatbelt, and pulled onto the highway. For the first 20 minutes, everything seemed fine. Then I checked my mirror. Headlights, behind me, far back, following. My stomach dropped. The headlights remained there mile after mile, never passing, never turning, just following. I sped up. They sped up. I slowed down. They slowed down. Exactly the same. The road was completely empty. Just us. Finally, I saw signs for the next town. Streetlights appeared ahead. Gas stations, restaurants, civilization. The moment I reached the outskirts of town, the headlights turned around and disappeared back into the darkness. I never saw the vehicle again. The next morning, curiosity got the better of me. I called the sheriff's office serving that area. I asked about the truck stop. There was a long silence. Then the deputy said, "You're not the first person to ask." I asked if anyone had ever been arrested. He said no. I asked if the reports were true. Another silence. Then he answered, "People have gone missing out there." That was all he would say. I never stopped at that truck stop again. A year later, I looked it up online. The business had closed. No explanation, no news article, nothing, just gone. Today, the building still sits abandoned beside the highway. And every time I drive through West Texas, I take a different route. Because maybe the trooper was wrong. Maybe it was all coincidence. Maybe those people were harmless. But one thing still bothers me. When I left that night and checked my mirror one final time, I saw the man who had been watching me, standing beside the road, smiling, like he knew exactly how close I came to staying. The first night in my new house, I heard someone walking upstairs. The problem was, I was living alone. My name is Ethan. This happened 2 years ago, just after I bought my first house. It wasn't a dream home. Actually, it was the only house I could afford. The property sat at the end of a quiet street outside a small town in Ohio. Nothing special. 2 floors, 3 bedrooms, old wooden floors, a small backyard. The house had been on the market for nearly 8 months. That should have been a warning. But I was 29 years old and desperate to stop renting. So I ignored it. The realtor told me the previous owner had died from natural causes. An elderly man named Walter. No crime, no tragedy, no strange history. Just an old man who passed away in his sleep. The family sold the house afterward. Simple. At least that's what everyone said. The first week was normal. I spent most of my time unpacking boxes and assembling furniture. The house felt old, but comfortable. The kind of place where floors creak and pipes make noises at night. Nothing unusual. Then the sound started. Around 2 a.m. every night. Footsteps, slow footsteps, walking across the second floor. At first, I didn't think much of it. Old houses make noise, wood expands, wood contracts. That's what I told myself. But after a few nights, I noticed something strange. The footsteps always followed the same route, exactly the same route. Bedroom, hallway, bathroom, hallway, bedroom, every single night. The same pattern, the same pauses, the same timing, almost like someone following a routine. One night I decided to test it. When the footsteps started, I quietly walked upstairs. The sound stopped immediately. Silence. I searched every room. Nothing. Nobody. I went back downstairs. 10 minutes later, the footsteps returned. I slept with the lights on that night. The next morning, I mentioned it to my neighbor, an older woman named Linda. She became strangely quiet. Then she asked, "Which room?" I frowned. "What?" "The footsteps. Which room do they start in?" I laughed. "Why does that matter?" She stared at me for a second, then shook her head. "Probably nothing," and changed the subject. That should have been another warning. But I ignored that too. A week later, I found something odd in the attic. I was looking for extra storage space. The attic was unfinished. Just insulation, dust, and old wooden beams. While moving boxes around, I noticed a section of floorboards that looked newer than the rest. Different wood, different nail. Almost like someone had replaced them recently. Curiosity got the better of me. I pried one of the boards loose. Underneath was a small metal box. Locked, old, covered in dust. I carried it downstairs and forced it open with a screwdriver. Inside were photographs. Dozens of them, all taken inside the house, the kitchen, the living room, the staircase, the backyard. Nothing unusual, until I looked closer. Every photograph had been taken from hidden angles, behind doorways, inside closets, from upstairs railings, like someone secretly watching. My stomach tightened. Then I found the final photograph. It showed a man sleeping in the master bedroom. The previous owner, Walter. The picture had clearly been taken while he slept. Someone had been watching him, inside his own house. I convinced myself it was some weird family joke. Nothing more. Then I turned the photograph over. Written on the back were 4 words. "He never sleeps alone." I didn't sleep much that night. Around 2 a.m., the footsteps started again. Bedroom, hallway, bathroom, hallway, bedroom. I sat frozen on the couch listening. Then I heard something new. A door opening, upstairs, slowly. The sound echoed through the house. I grabbed a flashlight and went up. The master bedroom door stood open. I was certain I'd left it closed. My heart started pounding. I searched the room. Nothing. Then I noticed the closet door, slightly open, just a few inches. I pulled it open quickly. Empty, but scratched into the back wall were dozens of lines, vertical marks, like someone counting days or years. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. I backed away immediately. That's when I heard a noise behind me. A floorboard creaked. Inside the hallway. I spun around. Nobody there. But I wasn't alone. I knew it. You ever get that feeling? That instinct telling you someone is watching? I felt it stronger than ever. I locked the bedroom and slept downstairs. The following afternoon, I visited the town library. I wanted information about Walter. Nothing dramatic, just curiosity. The librarian found several old newspaper articles. Most were ordinary. Retirement, community events, church fundraisers. Then she found one article from 1998. A missing persons report. A local teenager disappeared. Last seen near Walter's property. The case was never solved. Coincidence, maybe. But then I found another article. And another. 3 missing people over 20 years. Different ages, different circumstances. One thing connected them all. Every single person had been seen near that house shortly before disappearing. I drove home feeling sick. That night I searched every room again, every closet, every corner, everything. Nothing. Then around midnight, I noticed a draft coming from the upstairs hallway. Cold air, stronger than before. I followed it. The source was a wall beside the bathroom. At first it looked normal. Then I saw a tiny gap between the wooden panels, almost invisible. I pushed against it. The wall moved. My stomach dropped. A hidden door. Behind it was a narrow space, barely wide enough for a person. A secret passage, running between the walls. I stood there frozen. The air smelled old, dusty, rotten. Then I saw footprints. Fresh footprints. Not old. Fresh. Someone had been inside recently. I should have called the police. Instead, I grabbed a flashlight and entered. The passage stretched through large sections of the house. Hidden vents overlooked bedrooms. Small openings looked into hallways. Tiny peepholes faced the living room. Whoever built this place could watch every room without being seen. Then I found something that made my blood run cold. A chair, positioned directly beside one of the peepholes, and beside it, a half-empty bottle of water. Recent, very recent. Someone had been sitting there, watching, not years ago. Recently. My flashlight trembled in my hand, and then I heard movement, somewhere deeper inside the walls. A scrape, followed by a slow footstep. I froze instantly. Another footstep. Closer, then another. Something was moving inside the passage with me. I shut off my flashlight. Darkness swallowed everything. The footsteps continued, slow, deliberate, approaching. I couldn't see anything, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The footsteps stopped, maybe 15 feet away. Then a voice whispered, "You're not Walter." I ran. I don't remember turning around. I don't remember finding the exit. I just ran. I burst into the hallway and slammed the hidden door shut. Then I called the police. They arrived within 20 minutes. Officers searched the entire property. House, attic, basement, walls, everything. They found evidence someone had been living inside the hidden passageways. Food wrappers, blankets, batteries, water bottles, recent supplies. But they found no person, nothing. Whoever had been there escaped before they arrived. The investigation lasted several weeks. Eventually, detectives discovered something disturbing. The hidden passages were original to the house, built decades earlier. And Walter knew they existed. The previous owner had reported strange noises multiple times, but no evidence was ever found. Then one detective asked me a question I'll never forget. He said, "Did Walter ever mention seeing someone?" I shook my head. The detective looked uncomfortable. Then he said, "According to old reports, he claimed someone lived inside the walls for years." I moved out less than a month later. The house was eventually sold again. New owners, new family. I never returned. But 6 months after moving, I received a letter. No return address, no name. Inside was a single photograph, taken through a bedroom vent. Someone sleeping, the new owner. And written on the back were the same 4 words: "He never sleeps alone." I woke up in the middle of the night and realized our campfire was still burning. The problem was, none of my friends were around it anymore. My name is Cole. 3 years ago, 4 of us went camping deep in northern Montana during summer break. Nothing extreme, just a weekend trip before life got busy again. No signal, no cabins, no tourists. Exactly what we wanted. There was me, Jason, Mikey, and Aaron. We'd known each other since high school. Jason was the loud one, always joking, always filming everything for social media. Mikey was the paranoid one, the type who triple checks tent zippers and carries bear spray everywhere. Aaron barely talked, but he knew the woods better than any of us. The campsite itself took almost 2 hours to reach after leaving the main road. Old dirt trail, dense forest, no signs. According to Aaron, his uncle used to hunt there years ago. Perfect spot, he said. At first, it actually was. The lake nearby was quiet, cold air, nothing but trees and insects, no people, no sounds from roads, just wilderness. We set up camp near the edge of the forest beside a clearing. 2 tents, 1 fire pit, normal. That first night felt completely fine. We cooked hot dogs, drank beer, told stupid stories around the fire. Jason kept recording everything with his camera. At some point, he pointed it toward the trees behind us and joked, "If I disappear tonight, upload this to YouTube." We laughed. Then Aaron looked up suddenly, not laughing anymore. "You guys hear that?" We stopped talking. Silence. Then, something moved in the woods. Not close. Far back between the trees. Heavy footsteps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Slow. Mikey immediately grabbed the flashlight. "Probably a deer," I said. Aaron didn't answer. He kept staring into the darkness. The footsteps stopped. Then complete silence returned. Eventually we ignored it. But later that night, I woke up freezing. The fire had nearly died. Everyone else was asleep. At least, I thought they were. Then I noticed Jason's tent was open, empty. I frowned. "Jason?" No answer. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped outside. The woods were pitch black, that kind of darkness where the trees don't even look real anymore. Then I saw him, standing near the tree line, motionless, back facing me. "Dude, what are you doing?" No response. I walked closer slowly. "Jason?" Then he turned around, and immediately, something felt wrong. Not his face, his expression, blank, like he wasn't fully awake. His eyes looked unfocused. "You okay?" He stared at me for another second before quietly saying, "Did you hear the whistling?" A chill ran through me. "What whistling?" Jason looked toward the forest. "There's someone out there." I listened carefully. Nothing. Then suddenly, a whistle echoed through the trees, far away. 3 short notes, sharp, human. Every hair on my arms stood up instantly. Jason whispered, "That's what I heard." Then another whistle answered, from a different direction, closer. We went back to camp immediately. Aaron was awake now too. The second we told him about the whistles, his face changed. "Did it sound like a person?" "Yeah, Jason said. Why? Aaron stared into the fire, then quietly said, if you hear it again, don't whistle back. Mikey laughed nervously. What kind of Blair Witch crap is that? Aaron didn't smile. My uncle told me something when I was a kid, he said. He said if somebody whistles outside your camp at night, and you can't see them, he looked toward the woods. They're watching you. Nobody talked much after that. Eventually, we all tried sleeping again, but around maybe 3 a.m., the whistles came back. Closer now. 3 notes, then silence, then another answer from farther away, like 2 people communicating through the trees. Mikey whispered from inside his tent, tell me that's not real. Then suddenly, Jason whistled back. My stomach dropped. What are you doing? Aaron snapped. Jason laughed. Relax, dude. Then the woods went completely silent. No insects, no wind, nothing. And that terrified me more than the whistles, because forests are never completely silent. Aaron stood up immediately. Put the fire out. What? Now. Something in his voice made us move instantly. We dumped water onto the flames. Darkness swallowed the campsite immediately. Then we heard it. Footsteps, fast, running between the trees, circling us. Not one person, multiple. Branches snapping everywhere. Mikey panicked. Oh my God. A figure suddenly appeared between the trees for half a second. Tall, thin, then gone again. Jason's voice shook now. Okay, not funny anymore. The footsteps stopped. Silence again. Then, from deep in the woods, someone whispered, Jason, perfectly matching my voice. Hey, Jason looked at me slowly. I felt sick instantly. That wasn't me. Then another voice came. Closer, using Aaron's voice this time. Over here. Mikey backed toward the tents. Nope, we're leaving. Aaron nodded immediately. Pack everything. We didn't even argue. We threw gear into the truck as fast as possible, the entire time. We kept hearing movement around us. Branches cracking, soft whistles. Sometimes laughter, low, distant, like people trying not to be heard. Jason kept scanning the trees with his flashlight. Then suddenly he froze. Guys, I turned, about 30 yards away. Someone was standing between the trees, watching us. Too dark to see clearly, but definitely human. Then another appeared farther left. Then another. None of them moving, just watching. Mikey whispered, how many are there? Aaron looked terrified now. Get in the truck. We slammed the doors shut. Aaron started the engine immediately. And that's when Jason realized something. My camera. What? I left it by the fire. Forget it, Aaron snapped. But Jason was already opening the door. I'll be 2 seconds. He ran back toward the campsite. The flashlight beam bounced wildly as he disappeared into darkness. Then, we heard him scream. Not loud, short, cut off instantly. We all froze. Jason, I yelled. No response. Aaron grabbed a flashlight and jumped out. We followed. The campsite was empty. No Jason, no camera, nothing. Then Mikey pointed toward the trees, footprints, dragging marks in the dirt, leading into the forest. My chest tightened instantly. Aaron whispered, we're leaving. Right now. What about Jason? Aaron looked genuinely panicked. If we stay out here, we all disappear. I still hate him for saying that. But deep down, I knew he was right. We drove straight to the ranger station nearly 40 minutes away. Police searched the area the next morning. Dogs, helicopters, everything. They never found Jason, not even his backpack. The official report said he probably got lost in the woods during panic, but that's not what happened. Because 2 nights later, Mikey got a voicemail. No caller ID, just static at first. Then whistling, 3 short notes, and Jason's voice whispering, "Come find me." Mikey deleted it immediately. A week later, he dropped out of college and moved out of state. Aaron never talked about the trip again. And me? I still avoid forests completely. But sometimes, late at night, I hear whistling outside my apartment window. 3 short notes, waiting for an answer.